Normally when I connect to a Cisco device, the prompt gives us the device name, which in this case is R1, and the larger 1 character. Larger 1 character means that I am in user exec mode. User exec modes means that we have limited privileges on the device and we cannot do very much in here. Everywhere in the Cisco CLI, you can press a question mark to get a list of available commands at that position. So if I press question mark here, I will get a list of commands that I can use right here in user exec mode. And they are like 2 or 3 screenful of commands. We can see that whenever I get more output than fits on the screen, I will get a more prompt in the lower left of the screen. To see one more screen, I press the space bar. And to get one more line, I can press enter to get one line at a time. If I want to quit or abort the listing, I can press the Q button on the keyboard. Let's investigate what commands there are available that start with an E. I press E, and after that E, I press question mark, and I get a list of all commands available that start with E. I see that I have 4 commands available: M, enable, Ethernet, and exit. And if I add an N, I see EN question mark. I see that enable is the only command that starts with EN. In Cisco devices, I can shorten all commands as long as they are unique. That means that if I press E and enter, I get an error message that E is an ambiguous command. However, when I press EN and enter, it will accept that command because there is only one command that starts with EN, and that's enable. So instead of writing enable and press enter, I can press EN and enter. Enable happens to be the command that gets you from user exec mode to privilege exec mode. When you are in privilege exec mode, the prompt is a £. When you are there, you know that you have full access to everything in the device, compared to user exec mode, where you have quite limited options. So if I press a question mark here, I will see that I have a lot more options, a lot more commands available, because I have more privileges. If I want to go back from privilege exec mode back to user exec mode, I can use the exit command and press enter, and I will get back one step to the limited user exec mode. Enable and enter get me back to privilege exec mode again. I can also use tab to complete the commands. If I press E and tab, I will get no output. Actually, the terminal beeps, but my sound is turned off right now. So E tab cannot help me to complete the command, but if I write EX and now I press tab, EX and tab, you see that it will complete the command because EX means exit. So instead of writing the command shortened, you can press tab to spell out the entire word. Exit brings us back to user exec mode. Enable brings us back into privilege exec mode. Sometimes you will not get directly to privilege exec mode when you enter the enable command because there is an enable password configured. Whenever there is an enable password configured, you will get a password prompt before getting the £sign prompt. So in this case, there was no enable password configured, and I could go directly from user exec mode to privilege exec mode. If there had been a password configured, I had been prompted to enter that password to get into the privileged exec mode. By doing that, I can limit access to privileged exec mode. Let's try another command. C tab gives us nothing. CO question mark configure. CON is not unique because there's both configure and connect. So I cannot press tab here. If I press question mark, I will get both those words. But CONF is unique. If I now press the question mark, I will get the information that configure is the only word available. And if I press tab here, it will expand the conf to write configure instead. If I use the question mark here, I will see that I can add options to the configure command. The next available command mode is global configuration mode. And the command to get to global configuration mode is configure terminal. So I use the command configure terminal and press enter. And when I do that, the prompt changes and it includes config in parentheses in the prompt. That means that I am in global configuration mode. When I am in global configuration mode, I can do configuration changes to the device. If I want to go back to privileged exec mode, I use the exit command to go back. Let's try and shorten this command. conf space t is unique, and I can write conf t instead of configure terminal to get into configuration mode. To get back, again, I use exit. Let's try some more available commands. If I use the sh question mark, I will see that there is something called show. I can write show space and question mark, and I will get a list of all options that I can add to the show command, or all commands that start with show and space. And that's a lot. One of the most common commands is show run, which lists us the current configuration. It is somewhere a bit down. Show running config, current configuration. I can do show run. I don't need to write running-config. I can just write show space run and press enter. There are sub-configuration modes as well. If I go back to global configuration mode, I can do some changes here and do a lot of commands to change the configuration here, but I can also go into sub-configuration modes. As an example, if I enter line con 0, the prompt changes to config-line. That means that I'm now configuring the line console, and I'm in a sub-configuration mode under the global configuration mode. Another example, if I enter interface fa0/0, I am in an interface configuration mode. In this case, I will configure that interface. So this is another sub-configuration mode. And to get one step back, here again, I use exit. To get back here, again, I do exit. And to get back here, again, I do exit. Enable to get in there. Finally, the most important command in the Cisco devices is to save the current configuration. And I do that with write memory. And actually, write mem is an old command, and nowadays the official command is to do copy running config to startup config. So copy running config to startup config will save the current configuration, and write mem does the same. To repeat this, I have user exec mode, where the prompt is a larger than sign. I have privileged exec mode, where the prompt is a hash sign and I have full access to everything. And to get in there, you might need to have a enable password. I can go into global configuration mode with the command conf t, configure terminal. And when I do that, the prompt changes to config in parentheses. Then I am in global configuration mode. And I can from there go to further sub-configuration modes with different commands, and then the prompt changes to config-something depending on which mode I am in. To get back one step, I use the exit command, and to save the current configuration, I use the write mem or copy running config to startup config. The important thing to remember is that the write mem command is only available in the privileged exec mode. So if I do conf t, I cannot from here do copy running startup or write mem. Write mem or copy running startup is a command that you use in privileged exec mode only. That's the most common mistake to do, to try to do a write mem in another configuration mode. I cannot do it here either. I need to be in the privileged exec mode to do that. Also, to see the current configuration, I use the command show run. And that command is also only available in privileged exec mode. I cannot from here in user exec mode do show run. It doesn't work because I do not have enough privileges. And I cannot do it from configuration mode either. I need to go back here. So we use the tab and question mark commands to find out which commands we have available and which options we need to add to the commands. And with the exit command you will get back from each command mode to the previous one. This was a very short walkthrough of Cisco CLI. It takes a while to get used to it, but when you do that you can handle almost every type of device.